This is a quick look of a game called the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
I'm still rather new at being a games journalist, and here I am trying to journalistically review a game that defies a lot of the regular questions one would easily answer in a regular review about a regular game. In an effort to avoid spoilers, because this game really is best enjoyed yourself, I will be covering only the basics in this video and covering the not basics in a later one.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
Here's the standard details. It is on the following platforms for the following price. And it's discounted 33% on Steam for owners of the original Stanley Parable for the first 2 weeks, so get in on that. And it's out today on 4/27. It's cute because that's Stanley's employee number. Questions I can answer. Is it a game? I offer a resounding yes. It is a game. Of course it's a game, but as an aside, I have a feeling that if this and its predecessor were games that were more about emotions than yucking around, some people would find ways to disqualify them. Funny how that works. Do not make a Reddit thread about the past 15 seconds of this video, please. Does it have X amount of content or hours of gameplay? Yes, it very much has content. But one wonders, what is content? What is gameplay? I know what hours are, that one was easy. For the record, How Long to Beat says that a completionist run of the original game is 7.5 hours. Now that's a respectable amount of... Wait, why is this other number so low? Oh, that's right. 2 hours of that 7.5 hour completionist run is comprised of a purposefully tedious minigame where you try to save a cutout of a baby from a fire. And then that minigame gets harder and adds a puppy, and you play that version for 2 more hours. Which I did not even try to do. I'm not friggin' stupid. As of writing the script for this video, which, yeah, of course it's scripted, and listen to how I'm talking, I've played 5.2 hours of Ultra Deluxe, not all in one sitting, trying to see as much of it as possible, knowing that it's a cheeky little guy that might hide content from me. And it is hiding content from me, I just know it is. I even shamefully slid into the DMs of Crows asking if I was missing anything major, because as a games journalist, I don't want to miss out on any major portions of the experience. And oh my god, I'm so embarrassed I did that, but I just really want to do a games journalism correctly. They ghosted me, and they were morally correct to do so. They're also probably quite busy because they have a game launching right now. Does the game fulfill its promise as an expansion and reimagining of the original Stanley Parable? Certainly yes. What was promised was more endings and more choices, and those are definitely in the game. Something I've always appreciated about the first game is how it lets the player control comedic timing, and there's definitely loads of moments like that in Ultra Deluxe that have you playing as the punchline deliverer, often via interrupting the narrator at a time you feel is the most funny to do so.
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you forgot. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others?
My face hurt from laughing sometimes, and I was thinking, God, this is so funny, and I helped. The player was, and still is, in the position of a rude improv partner, derailing the narrator from his intended course and pushing back on him constantly.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Making things frustrating for him is a running joke that I will always appreciate, especially with Kevin Brighting voicing the soothingly British voice of God, who seemingly has something to say about everything I could ever think to do in this game.
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something! Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise I made for you? Well, fine. You're a dork anyway, so who cares?
And big props to Kevin Brighting, who is still just magnificent as this character and who could read the terms and conditions of Steam to me and it would feel like a massage for my brain. His voice hasn't aged a day during the 9-year development cycle of the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, and his line reads are just superb from the start to the end is not the end, is not the end, is not the end. And of course, Davey Wreden is still one of my absolute favorite game writers out there, so the words being narrated at the player are some top-notch words. Great words you chose there, Davey. Big fan of them. So if you're looking for more Stanley Parable, you've got it. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe is definitely more of the Stanley Parable. That's all the questions answered. The answers are yes, yes, and yes. Some other quicker questions. Do I have to play the original Stanley Parable to play Ultra Deluxe? Seemingly no. The game asks you upon startup if you've played it before, and I assume it will behave differently if you select no, and it'll probably gate the new content until you've seen a decent amount of the original game. I am guessing, though, I did not select that, because I have played it before. What's going to happen to my Go Outside achievement progress? If you didn't know, in the original game there was an achievement for not playing the Stanley Parable for 5 whole years. I didn't make it. I whiffed it. According to the website for the game, many achievements from the original Stanley Parable will return in Ultra Deluxe, but progress and unlocks are entirely separated. This means that your career streak of not playing the Stanley Parable remains untouched when you're playing Ultra Deluxe. How's the accessibility options? More robust than I expected. In addition to your many beautiful sliders and options for your subtitle aesthetic, there's also translation labels on top of in-game text, color labels so that colorblind players can make better informed decisions, and it's got content warnings for suicide, trauma, and mental health issues that will pop up to warn of upcoming upsetting content. And finally, did you enjoy your time spent with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe? Yes, very much. So to sum up, that is yes, 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 no, nothing, good, and yes. And that's all the questions I feel good answering at the moment. Without spoiling anything, I don't want to spoil it. In a follow-up video, probably posted in like a week or two, unless I make it very long by accident, I will be answering some better questions than those. But I hope this was a satisfactory quick look into what the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe has to offer you hungry gamers. I recommend it heartily to everyone, especially to those who will not like it.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fanbase rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?